found it from Be Live. So if you are using Be Live for your broadcasts, that's something that you're going to be enjoying. I think they just launched it today, so I'm excited. I thought we should try that out, and that will help to make our sessions more fun. So welcome. Welcome. Let me know where you are joining us from this morning. Thank you so much for making out time to be here. Thank you. Just give us a moment and let us know where you're joining from. It's the Civilized Presence. You are definitely in the right place at the right time. Just give us 1 second. And I am trying to bring this up. Perfect. So come in and give us your comments, and welcome, Success. It's great to have you. And I will just be starting this up on Instagram. We're ready to go. Just give us another 2 minutes. Instagram family. Just 1 second. All right. Perfect. There you go. So welcome, everyone. Let me know where you're joining from. It's the Civilized Presence. Welcome, Instagram family. I'm excited. Happy new month. It's May the 1st. So I'm so excited that we're here for a new month. I know that some of us are really troubled. We are also having the lockdown. But welcome, sister. It's good to have you in the house. I can see a lot of people coming in. If I haven't mentioned your name directly, it's because you're probably not on my personal page. But I want you to know that I really appreciate you making out time to be here. Thank you so much. Now, let me know where you're joining us from, your city, country, and to tell us what's happening. This is not one of those sessions where you come in to listen. Let's try to make this very interactive. I have another expert in the house all the way from Egypt. It's good to have you here, everyone. Thank you so much for making up time to be here. Stacey Stens, it's good to have you. Sandra, it's good to have you. Helene, it's good to have you. Thank you. Barbara Banger, it's good to have you in the house. Let us know what country you're joining us from. Funke, it's good to have you in the house. Thank you. I can see Nigeria, I can see Egypt, I can see the United States, I can see Canada, the UK, and if I haven't mentioned your country, please just let me know in the comment box below. Probably Fitvolution, it's great to have you in the house. It's the Civilized Presence. Usually we're here every Mondays and Fridays at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. But right now we're running a masterclass series that's titled The Unstoppable 20. What to do when disaster happens and how to snatch your year 2020 back from COVID-19. And welcome from California. Yay! It's good to have you. Thank you. Welcome, Franklin. It's good to have you. Thank you so much. Instagram, thank you. Mabina, it's good to have you in the house. Guys, if I haven't mentioned your name, it's not because I don't care. It's just that we're using Be Live. It takes a moment for me to see your name, and if you're not directly on my page, and if you don't come into the video to say a quick hello, I might not see your name directly, but I want you to know that I really do love and appreciate your making out time. And how are you doing? Everyone is back home. I know it's so difficult to be on lockdown. You feel like you're imprisoned, isn't it? So what are the new things? What are the new skills that you've learned? What are the great things that you've been doing? I want you to come in and share. What have you used for your immune system? Have you been eating something new? Come in and share with us. We want to learn. It's the Civilized Presence anyways. And we have a global audience this morning. So someone is going to learn something from you. What new skills have you learned? And how are you coping? Homeschooling. I know the parents are not so happy about the homeschooling. And I know it's so difficult. It's been so challenging because the teachers have always done it. And I'm going to take a moment to say thank you to the teachers for all the work that you've been doing all these years. We didn't realize how difficult it was up until today. But, thank you. We've had a chance to work with it, and it hasn't been easy, I must say. It's been extremely challenging. Dr. Darlington, your camera. Yes, perfect. That works. Thank you so much. So guys, if you're just here for the first time, welcome. And I want you to be part of what we're doing. Let's make this very interactive. Bring your questions. It's session number 18. We started from the 1st of April. It's been a month. And we're rounding up the session. So if there's any topic that you think we haven't worked on and you're still struggling with, I will be happy to hear from you. Just send me an email on Louisa at the civilityacademy.com. And then we will make sure that we bring the expert to talk about that. So thank you so much. Thank you, guys. And welcome, Reverend Rajan, all the way from South Africa. It is so great to have you here. Thank you. And everyone is saying Happy New Month. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And let me know what are your plans for the month. I know that we're all still locked in, but we can still set up a structure and a routine and be able to do something great with our time. Now, a lot of people are liking the videos. I can see the shares. Please do us a favor. Civility MS is here in the house. Woo, woo, woo. That's another civility expert. I'm so excited to have you here, my sister from Maryland. Thank you for making up time to be here. You're going to enjoy what we're doing. So first of all, let's kind of do background check on what's going on. I'm here from Virginia. And of course, in Virginia, we're dealing with about 17,000 cases of COVID. And my heart really does go out to people who have lost their loved ones, their friends, their colleagues. I'm so sorry. I have lost people too during this period. It hasn't been funny, but together we can still make it happen. We can still hold each other's hands and support ourselves. And that's why we're here on the show. And welcome, Dr. Eric Tejada. It's good to have you in the show. Thank you so much for making out time to be here. Overall, all over the world, we're looking at about 3.3 million cases. So it is a lot. I'm going to encourage everyone to try to stay at home if you can. We have to do something about this virus. This virus is taking, it's really taking a lot of people away. It's breaking homes. It's causing heartbreaks. It's doing so much. And together we have to fight this virus. To do all that you can. If you have to wash your hands, do it. If you have to take something that's going to help with your immune system, do it. If you have to stay at home, please do it. If you don't need to go out, please do that. You have to support the children, please do that. So, let's work together. And of course, share whatever that you've been doing that has worked for you. And we're happy to learn from you and also do the same thing over here. But the great news is that we have over 1 million that has recovered all over the world. That brings some hope. That means that we're doing something good. So guys, let's just keep doing what we've been doing. Okay, just keep doing what you've been doing. And we want to be able to increase this number. So some of you have never met me before. My name is Louisa Akaizo, and I am a master civility trainer, a woman development advocate, and of course, an author of several books. I'm also a leadership expert with the John Maxwell team. But something that I feel so honored to share with you is that I am the recipient of the World Civility Day I Change Nations African Women of the Year 2020 award this year. I'm also the founder of the Civility of the Girl Child Day initiative, and this is celebrated every October 13th as the International Civility for the Girl Child Day. And our mission is built on the concept of the golden rule, civility, image, and leadership. So that's going to be a day where every girl must be encouraged, of course, celebrated, encouraged to embrace their flaws, find their voice, and show up with their girl power. So I want to encourage all of you that before October the 13th, let me know. Those of you who would love to be part of this initiative, it will be great for us to have ambassadors from different parts of the world just doing the same exact thing, trying to restore the culture of honor for the girl child. And welcome, Stacey Anderson. It's wonderful to have you here. Welcome, Peggy. Peggy Strange, it's good to have you here. My JMT family is in the house. Woohoo! I'm so excited to have leadership experts, leaders from all over the world, just coming in here to join in on the conversation. And guys, it's session number 18. The topic of today is addressing business continuity risk during COVID-19 for entrepreneurs and organizations. And of course, you know that our viewers are mostly leaders and professionals and entrepreneurs, and some of us are struggling with our businesses today. We really do not know where to go at this point. And research has shown us that many businesses, whether it's small scale or large scale, will go into extinction before COVID-19 fades away. But you want to prove them wrong. And you can't just do that by wishing, because wishing is not a strategy. We're going to show you what to do that will help you to be able to survive as a business, as an entrepreneur, as a professional post COVID-19. And post COVID-19 is just around the corner because China has opened its doors for business. So this is why we had to bring in experts. I've heard your questions, I've heard your concerns, and thank you to all of you who always sent me messages and emails really asking for what you want to learn on the show. And today, coming on board is, of course, a representative from the renowned North American business continuity consulting company that's called Global Advisors Corporation, based in Canada, who will, of course, provide us with guidance on how to develop this business resilience plans for small scale and large scale organizations, or for entrepreneurs, for leaders. So you are in the right place. Chaiki, it's good to have you in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are just getting here, I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you for making out time to be here. So let me just introduce my guest for today. The two of them today, we have Angel Ajudwa and we have Dr. Darlington Akazo. And so I'm just going to go right into their bio. Dr. Darlington Akazo is a renowned risk management executive with over 26 years of experience. He has worked in various establishments across the globe in the area of crisis management, business continuity, emergency response planning, cybersecurity, and disaster recovery planning. He holds an undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate doctorate degree in the areas of information systems technology, management information systems, and technology risk leadership. He holds an array of certifications in which we will only mention a few just for time. He is a certified project management professional. He is also certified with the Information Systems Audit and Control Association, and that's ISACA, in the governance of enterprise IT. He is a certified information security manager. He is also certified in risk and information systems control. Another interesting thing is that he's a certified business continuity planner with the Disaster Recovery Institute International, and that's DRII, and an ISO 22301 lead auditor with the International Consortium for Organization Resilience. He is also an associate fellow of the Business Continuity Institute with Business Continuity Institute, BCI. Dr. Akazo is an alumni of the Harvard University and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He is also an adjunct professor of computer science and information systems as a researcher. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Dr. Darlington Akazo to the house. Welcome. It's great to have you here. So I'm going to go over to Angela Judor, of course, from Global Advisors. It's based in Toronto, Canada, who is the regional manager right now for Global Advisors Corporation. She is a global leader in business continuity and risk management consulting services. So Angela Judor, it's great to have you in the house. Thank you so much, both of you, for making out time to be here. So we're just going to jump right into the deal of the day without wasting any much time. So my first question for you both, and of course we can begin with you, Dr. Akazo, is how has COVID-19 been for you, the lockdown? I know that everyone is at home, struggling with the lockdown, homeschooling, some people are working. How has it been for you? Over to you.
Thank you very much, Louisa. Thank you. I really have to, first of all, applaud all the good work you've been doing, especially during this lockdown or lock-in. We can't thank you enough, and we also cannot thank the Civilized Presence show enough. The topics you bring on and the engagements you're currently having, very mind-blowing. So I have to say thank you to you first, before I talk about COVID-19 in my area. So presently, I am in the Virginia area, and the corona cases, as at a few hours ago, I think crept up onto about 17,000 cases. And the deaths have been reported in the numbers close to 600. But so far, I am safe. My family is safe. working remotely and doing all the good things I do from a remote standpoint. Very grateful to God. That's how it's been for me. So we're safe and we're good.
And what about you, Angel? How has the lockdown been for you? Have you been able to learn some new skills? I know that you're working, of course, remotely, but what exciting things that you're going to share with us about COVID-19? Over to you.
Well, I want to thank you for having this opportunity to be on your show. This COVID-19 period has been quite difficult, but I've been managing and making things work. I've been learning new skills to continue learning. Just there's lockdown doesn't mean you need to stop learning. So I've just been learning new skills that will help better global advisors and help with businesses with their contingency plans.
Thank you. It's so good to have you here. My sister, Arlene, thank you so much for making out time to be here. Thank you. It's so exciting. Yes, the topic of today, guys, is business continuity. And I think that is so important for every entrepreneur, every business, whether it's small scale or large scale, and of course, every leader. It's important that we know how to move on post-COVID. Welcome. My sister is here. Buller, it's great to have you in the house. Thank you so much for making out time to be here. So I'm just going to go right to the next topic, Dr. Kaiso. I want to ask, can you talk to the audience about, in a layman's language, what is business continuity anyways? Because I see so many sessions, online organized by, for example, the UN, the World Bank, and some banks, and talking about business continuity and how this is so important for every entrepreneur and businesses for us to be able to survive post-COVID. What is business continuity plan anyways? Over to you, Dr. Kaito.
Thank you very much, Louisa. And in fact, the part of your question I love the most is when you said, I need you to describe this in layman terms. So what happens is, in the world we live in today, people anticipate something could happen. It could be a cyber attack, it could be civil unrest, or it could be a pandemic such as we're currently seeing. So all of these anticipations are there. But then what do you do about it? So it's time businesses begin to think of how to manage or how to recover from all of these things if these things become in vogue, if these things were to happen. So when you look at striking a balance between anticipation and preparedness, that's what brings business continuity together. So you anticipate something could happen, but how prepared are you when that thing eventually happens? Yeah. So pretty much business continuity planning or a business continuity plan is a documentation that provides a step-by-step procedure on the roles you need to establish, the resources you need to acquire, and the procedures an organization is supposed to put in place to ensure that they can restore normal business operations in a timely fashion in the event of a disruption. So that's just in layman terms, and I'm happy to expatiate on this if you want me to.
Yes, this is wonderful. Of course, it's going to lead me to my next question, but let me just go back to the audience. I have some more people join us. She comments, it's great to have you here in the house. Elisha Atai, it's great to have you. Dr. Jared from Kenya, it's good to have you. Dr. Dwayne, thank you so much for making our time. Stacy, it's good to have you in the house. So what is the difference between business continuity and having an insurance for your business?
Thank you very much, Louisa. That's a very good question you asked. If you look at it, business continuity is a form of business protection, right? So in the event that you lose your business, what you can do is to say, I'm going to call on my insurance company to help me, right? But then if you also look at it from a business continuity context, a business continuity plan is a form of business protection for your business. It's also a form of insurance. So what you're doing is you're putting some controls in place. You're telling yourself, in the event of a disruption, how can my business survive? And some of the things we want to do in order to assist, like experts, is we try to advise businesses should not 100% rely on insurance, because when you rely on insurance, there's so many things at stake of which you lose and never can get them back. So insurance does the payout. They pay you money so that you can help restore the things you've lost. But insurance can't pay you when it comes to reputational impacts or reputational damages of which your company has suffered. You can't pay to reacquire the reputation you've lost. So business continuity is a form of insurance. It's in itself a business protection mechanism for your business. And what we advise businesses is that this is the very first step, the initial first step every business needs to take before looking the insurance way.
Wow, this is interesting. And welcome, T-Bums. It's great to have you in the house. Guys, do me a favor by inviting other people to be part of what we're doing. Please share this video on your page. Invite your friends, family, neighbors, and enemies too. They need to be able to secure their business. So this message is going to help everyone. Guys, if you have some questions, bring it in, because the expert is in the house. You don't want to bring the questions when the expert is gone. I cannot handle these questions. Of course, it's not my area of expertise. And I had to bring them to answer every question, every concern that we have. Of course, it's been very heart-wrenching, really thinking about how can we move on and continue post-COVID. So this is going to take me to my next question for you. Yes. Now, I have seen business continuity. I've also seen crisis management, okay? And it becomes confusing for me. I don't know if everyone feels the same way, but, I like to make sure that I'm on the right track. So what is crisis management in the context of business continuity planning? And how does that help? Do they work hand in hand, or is this something totally different? Over to you, Dr. Kaito.
Thank you very much, Louisa. It's a very good question you've asked, because when you talk about crisis management in the context of business continuity planning, what pretty much you're trying to achieve is you're looking at how organizations deal with disruptive events, right? These are events you do not expect to happen. And these events threaten to harm these organizations or to harm its stakeholders. So crisis management is the process of which organizations deal with all of these events. And the goal for crisis management is to ensure that your organization is able to respond quickly and effectively so that you can have a coordinated place to continue your work. So again, during a crisis, right, you see people normally scramble. Right? You see people scrambling. What do I do? Where do I go to? Who do I call? What resources do I need to resolve the problem? And the problem that has been, that they have, that has, hit them. So all of these resources, all of these responsibilities, all of this task of which you do in order to respond to an unexpected event has to do with crisis management. So crisis management is an integrated process of which organizations put in place the people to call, the resources to leverage, and the things or tasks they need to do to ensure that their businesses could continue in the event of a crisis. So that's what crisis management is in the context of business continuity planning.
Thank you so much. And of course, thank you for your contribution. Dr. Dwayne says this is good information. Thank you. It's great to have you, everyone who is contributing. Please bring your question. Have you built a business continuity plan for your business already, or you're interested, or is this something? Were you just as confused as I was? Because I was wondering, I'm thinking, who are these people? I know about insurance, but I had to I thought it was so important when I began to get, messages, from viewers just asking, Louisa, how can we move on? Why are some organizations asking us to do this? Do we have to? And if you were running a masterclass series and talking about how we can get our year back, our businesses back, I think this is important information that we should address at this point. So welcome, Dr. Tiki. It's great to have you in the house. Thank you so much for making out time to be here. And this is going to take me to my next question for you is, what is it that small business owners or entrepreneurs need to know about business continuity? And of course, why should this be so important to them? Don't forget, this is small business owners. So let's have an avatar. Let's create an avatar of a man called John. And so John is an entrepreneur, started up a small business before COVID. And John did not expect that COVID was going to come in such a crazy manner and just kind of shut things up. How can John wake up and take on what he's been doing before? Why does he need it? Why is it so important to John? Because, I mean, John is a small business owner anyway. Over to you, Dr. Akaito.
Thank you very much, Louisa. It's coincidental you used the name John because John is also a very good friend of mine, and he's one of the people that worked really hard to make sure I come on this show. So when you mentioned John, I started thinking about him. You've asked a very good question, and I think this is where I have to break things down in a very, very comprehensible way. When you look at the world now, you see all kinds of tragedies, right? So you see all kinds of natural disasters. You have hurricanes, you have earthquake, you have floods, right? And all of these things we have no control over, or even if we do, it's to a limited extent. So what happens is when disaster strikes, it doesn't segregate between a small business and a big business. The disaster hits all of them all the same. So what happens is that you have to protect your business. And something I feel is very important that I share with you is being an expert in this field. I have studied contingency planning, resilience planning for the past 26 years. And what I do, what I do from a research standpoint is in the aftermath of every event that hits the world, I sort of go back to find out what worked, what did not work, and all of those lessons learned. So let me take you back to 9/11. So when we had the national tragedy, the national tragedy, when we had that tragedy, what happened was during that period of time, I had some interest in technology companies that operated in New York during that time. But after 9/11, I went back to look for those companies and I couldn't find them. So I'm not trying to scare the audience, but what I'm trying to say is that after COVID-19, many of the businesses you see today will no longer exist. This is a fact. And the reason these businesses will not exist is because this business had no form of business continuity planning arrangements. So these businesses will phase out. Something I want to bring to the audience is that no business exists in isolation. Businesses do not exist in a vacuum. Every business is dependent on some form of service from another business. So take, for instance, Mr. John's business. If Mr. John provides a deliverable, an output, or if Mr. John provides a service, before providing that service, he needs input from other sources. He needs suppliers to supply things to him before he can deliver what he does as a business. So if Mr. John becomes nonchalant and he becomes unaware of what's happening in the current environment of which COVID-19 has created, he will find himself in a vacuum because every other businesses around him will change the way they do business. So he's going to come back realizing that he's left alone in the rain. So a business continuity plan is very important because every business has a dependency component around it. You depend on other businesses for input so that you could manufacture or you could do the things you do. And those services are gradually changing the way they do business as a result of COVID-19. Some of them are no longer accepting, clients to come in. They're doing things virtually. And how prepared are you to work with those businesses based on the way they have transformed their operations? So a business continuity plan is very, very important. It's a plan that enables you to identify within the business John is doing what's the profile of processes of which John needs to carry out his business. And out of those processes, what are the time-sensitive or time-critical processes of which John needs to recover immediately and quickly? If John is unable to recover these processes immediately and quickly, that means there will be an impact on his clients, right? That means reputation will be impacted, or that means John could lose money. So in the aftermath of an event, what you do is you worry about your time critical processes first. What processes do I have that are, that are time critical? What are the things I need to recover immediately? And what are the things I need to recover next week? And what are the things I need to recover in 2 months' time in a very staged fashion? Because you can't end up recovering everything at the same time. So again, John needs to have that profile of processes and that criticality assessment being carried out for his organization. And if you look at it now, what's happening now is regulatory authorities are becoming a lot more stricter, right? What they do now is they request of companies to see if those companies have what it takes to survive a crisis like this. So so looking at it from that standpoint, John needs to make sure that he stays in compliance if he needs to continue business. And back to the point you did mention, Louisa, which was very important. Small businesses should not only rely on insurance, because insurance payouts will not preserve your business after a disruption, right? There are other issues besides finance. You're going to lose reputation. You're going to lose market share to your competition. So all of these things happen. So it's not relying on insurance that will help you. Again, if you look at business continuity as a program, of which I said, it's a form of insurance on its own, because what it does is it ensures that the critical business processes you have remains uninterrupted and your customer service is being maintained. So in summary, if I were to advise John as a small business, I'll advise John to do his best to ensure that he has a consulting firm develop a business continuity plan for him. The magnitude of the plan he's going to have will not be as that of Bank of America. He needs just a small piece of plan, a plan of which a risk assessment is done for him, a business impact analysis is being carried out. Then John now knows the critical processes he maintains and the ones of which he needs to worry about later. Then all of the resources of which John needs, both internally and externally, he has all of them documented. So this is a preparedness arrangement which enables John to recover from any incident without being worried. So that, in a nutshell, is my advice to John.
Thank you so much. And of course, I have questions from the audience. And guys, if you're just joining us for the first time, it's the Civilized Presence. We're here every Mondays and Fridays at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. But right now, we're running a masterclass series, The Unstoppable 20, What to Do When Disaster Happens, and how you can snatch your year 2020 back from COVID-19. And of course, the conversation this afternoon has been one that is so important. And, every entrepreneur, every small business, large business, whatever, needs to be part of this. The topic is addressing business continuity risk during COVID-19 for entrepreneurs and organizations. And of course, we have questions already coming up. And the first question from Dr. Elisha Atai, it says, how is the hospitality and meetings industry going to survive after the COVID-19 madness? I love that you call it madness. That's interesting. Thank you so much, Dr. Atai, for your question. And over to you, Dr. Kaiser.
Thank you very much. I'm happy he did mention the hospitality industry. This is this is very, very interesting, because what happens is, and in the past I have done this, I have developed business continuity plans for that industry sector. So what that plan protects them from is, number one, in a situation like this, what do they do?
Yes.
Currently, currently things are on lockdown.
Yeah.
So if you look at the hospitality business, it may be just one stream of business you've identified, and that's the one you worry about. So when it comes to making sure that people could come into a place, could stay overnight, could stay for 2 days, then leave, that's the piece of the business you're looking at, of which you see. But how about other essential businesses they have of which you do not know? So this is an avenue for those other segments of their businesses to thrive. So a business could be down on one angle, but on the other angle, thrive. So pretty much what business continuity would do at a time like this is to ensure that all of the clients you have, you touch base with all of the clients you have. What's befallen you has also befallen them. right? And now you need to leverage other services, or other services you provide, which may not be the dominant one of which people know. If you look at the hospitality business, they have other businesses, but then their businesses are people dependent, right? And I think you may be coming on this from the from being insured. So again, an insurance company will be very friendly with you when they realize that you've done everything everything you're supposed to do to ensure that you've protected your business. So if all else fails, and I go to an insurance firm now to say, this is the business I run, things have gone haywire, I need you to help me out. They'll ask of you, what forms of control do you already have? Then you show to them a business continuity plan. This is a plan I had, of which an incident like this has happened, and I no longer have clients. But again, I am now devolving to another area of my business to draw in more resources. So again, it's a difficult situation, and the hospitality businesses, I would have to say, have been badly hit. But what they need to do is to leverage other business processes which they run, of which may not have been as visible as as the one which has to do with taking in guests and sending them out after a period of time.
Thank you so much for that answer. Of course, thank you, Dr. Atai, for that question. I think that this is such an important topic, and our guest here is doing his best to answer the question. So, of course, if you have any question with regards to your own industry, if you have any question with regards to your own business and what concerns you, this is the time to bring it in and ask the question directly. We love the sessions to be very interactive. We don't want to just make it informative alone, but we want to make it interactive where you can ask questions and get real-time responses in the show. That's the focus of the show. So guys, if you're just joining us, I want to say welcome. Thank you. I don't want to say that you're late to the party, but you are. Welcome, Mimi. It's great to have you here from Nigeria. Welcome, Reformer. It's good to have you here. Thank you so much for making our time. Coach ID, I see you on the screen. Thank you. It's so great to have you in the house. And guys, bring on your topics. The topic of today is addressing business continuity risk during COVID-19 for entrepreneurs and organizations. So bring your questions that you might have. I had another question here from Dr. Dwayne. It says, where do we go to seek the best insurance for a particular business? Because every business is unique in what they do. Is there a place or agency that can assist you? Is that a question that is related to, I'm going to pass this to you, Dr. Kaiso, but is this a question, because I know that you have shared that business continuity planning is a form of insurance. So Dr. Dwayne, you might want to rephrase that question because we want to address it properly. And just know, are you talking in terms of asking for a business continuity plan where you can go to for different businesses? So we can rephrase that to mean that, are there different kind of plans? I believe that there are going to be different kind of plans for different industries. Is that what is the case, Dr. Kaiso?
Thank you very much, Rizzo. I think you started answering the question right. Again, we will not advise you on the kind of well, we can still do that when push comes to shove. We can tell you the kind of insurances, because if you look at insurance, it's also a mitigatory option, right? If you are being, if you have an incident that disrupts or intends to disrupt your business operations, what do? You have to prevent or you have to mitigate, right? So one form of mitigation is transferring it. You say, I won't deal with this. It's beyond my capacity. Insurance deal. Take over this. Work on it. Mm-hmm. But again, what I was trying to reinforce is that this is more like a first or second line of defense, right? Insurance will always ask of you, what steps are you taking, or what steps do you have in place to protect your business, right? If not, then the premiums could go really, really high. So the first thing we would like to suggest to you is to make sure that you have a well-developed business continuity plan. As long as you have that, then it becomes easier for the insurance companies to look at you and to accept you, because they've seen that you have put in place adequate controls for your business. So the amount they're going to charge from you would be a lot less than the amount they're going to charge from someone who doesn't even have a control in place for the business processes they run. So again, each business also, is attuned to a different sort of, to what you may want to get in terms of insuring it. We can advise, or in fact, I'm happy a consulting firm has been brought on board. They can advise you on the insurance you need to get. But first of all, what matters is the immediate first step. They need to ensure that a continuing, that a business plan is in place, and that plan holds true for whatsoever situation may befall, may come your way. So asking us for a type of insurance or to to opine on insurances that will help of you is a little bit far ahead of the of the game. What we want to do first is to make sure that your business has a cogent, or your business has a recovery plan that works. When that is satisfied, if that doesn't cover everything, then insurance could be sorted. So those are questions of which we can work, one-on-one with whoever is asking, and ensure that we provide answers that suits exactly what he's asking after.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kaiser. And of course, yes, Dr. Atai says thank you for that answer. He said, thank you very much. Fantastic conversation and very educative. So, my question right now would be, and of course, let me just go back to the audience. Welcome, Sandra. It's good to have you. Izzy from Canada. Thank you for making out time to be here. It looks like we're kind of popular today in Canada. Maybe it's because we have global advisors here today. We have quite a number of people who are locked in from Canada. And thank you for making out time, all of you, for being here. Dr. Akaizo, I have another question for you. Is it too late at this point to build this plan? Because nobody saw COVID-19 coming. I mean, nobody could predict that it was going to show up. I wish I knew that COVID-19 was going to show up. I probably would have tried to be, with the rest of my family and just kind of have a happy lockdown with everybody being in the same place. So nobody really knew that COVID-19 was going to show up. Is it too late to put that plan in place right now? Like, is it too late to do that? Or is there kind of a hope, or what are the next steps? What can we do right now?
Thank you very much, Louisa. That's a very good question. I have to be really honest with you. If you have not had a business continuity plan by now, then you have a lot to worry about. I have to be very honest with you. But again, it's not too late. It's not too late to consult a company or to go and look for consultants to develop a plan for you. It's not too late, but you are on the red zone. It's a little bit risky now, but yes, you should do the best you can to ensure that you have a plan. And I'll give you, and I'll give you an example. What you're asking for, it's like someone whose home has been invaded. Your home has been invaded and you're asking, can I still be assisted? Yes, you can be assisted, but there may be things of which you may have lost, of which may not, it's not easy to bring them back because you've lost them. So what now the plan can do for you is from then onwards, it can now prepare you. Right. You remember what I talked about, at first. Mm-hmm. You're looking at striking a balance between anticipating something could happen and also preparedness when it eventually happens. Mm-hmm. So you anticipated this could happen. Well, like you said, you never knew COVID-19 could happen. It has happened now. So there's some things of which you've lost in the first spectrum. You may never be able to get back to them, but then you still should develop a continuity plan almost immediately to ensure that you don't lose out everything in its entirety. So that's my 2 cents on this.
I think that why I'm so, I'm really, this is very fascinating. I really enjoy, listening to what business continuity has got to offer, especially that, looking at it from a different standpoint from the insurance company, the regular insurance companies who could just pay you off. But when you talked about reputation is something that cannot be bought. And that's why I'm going to encourage so many of my, all my viewers, entrepreneurs, professionals, we might feel like we want to give up at this time. I have spoken to a lot of people who have said, Louisa, I don't feel like doing anything. It just looks like business has crashed. I also want to encourage you guys that it was during disasters such as this one that really great businesses started. For example, Amazon, Uber, they started in seasons like this. You might not be able to put in as much time as you usually would, but putting a plan in place and of course putting in some good amount of time and still continuing to work on your business, because you see reputation connects with credibility. And when you lose that, when I heard, I've always thought, what is business continuity planning? Is this not another form of insurance? And when I saw that the conversations were really going on a daily basis, if you've been paying attention, or for some of you who are on LinkedIn, you would notice that every single day there is a session that is about business continuity and crisis management online that is going on. There's so many conversations, live sessions that are going on why every entrepreneur, professional, small business, large businesses should be able to build a plan. The same way that COVID-19 showed up without us expecting it, other disasters can show up too. We never know how long this is going to last for. We're talking about the lockdown. We're saying that we're home. Do we know how long we're going to be home for? We don't know. We're hoping that as we begin May today, we're hoping for the best, that before the month of May is gone, that, COVID-19 is also gone. But, hope and wish is really not a strategy. We have to get to work and create a plan. So this is going to take me to my next question, which is going to be for you, Angel. Of course, thank you so much for joining us from Global Advisors in Toronto, Canada. What are some immediate next steps that you would recommend? What is available right now? Because I'm thinking about myself and how COVID-19 has just kind of turned me apart as well. And we're just trying to hold it together, guys. I'm in the same shoes. So what can we do right now? What is available? And how easy is it? Thinking about Dr. Gwen's question, how easy is it for us to find resources, agencies, get people, agents or experts to help us to build this plan? How easy is this? How can this happen? Over to you, Angel.
First and foremost, I want to thank you, Louisa, for giving Global Advisors an opportunity to be on this platform. So as Dr. Akaiso said, every company needs a continuity plan. And that's exactly what we do at Global Advisors. For any additional information, all you have to do is check out our website at www.globaladvisors.ca. Again, the website is www.globaladvisors.ca. And this is what we do for a living. We have offices across North America. And in addition to this, to everyone viewing this show, we're offering our first free consultation session. So please take advantage of this. And to sign up for the free first consultation session, you have to go again to our website at www.globaladvisors.ca.
Oh, that is great. And thank you so much. That feels good. We always feel so good. Thank you so much. And so viewers, please visit the website. It's www.globaladvisors.ca, and you can book your first free consultation. I think that is great. It's always great to just find out what can be done for you, what is available for you, because I'm going to do the same, the exact same thing.
That's right. That's right.
I'm sure there's some resources that we can download and all of that. Let's go and have a look at it. And of course, if you have any questions after you've done that, please let me know. Send an email, louisa@thecivilityacademy.com. I will be happy to bring back more experts and of course deal with whatever questions that you have. But I think it's not too late for us to wake up now and try to control the situation right now, because it's kind of looks like it's getting out of hand, but we can still hold it.
That's right.
We've been affected. All of this has happened. COVID has taken away, our happiness, kind of messed things up. We've lost so much money. So many organizations, guys. This is not even funny. Over 6 million people in the United States have already filed for unemployment. Like, seriously? So we can only imagine what's going to happen post-COVID. And your business is not for you alone. It's there to serve other people. I can imagine that you might have other people who are dependent on your business. So we want to be able to hold things together. And of course, your reputation, how can you work? What are the next steps that you can do? And guys, I am so excited that we can at least have one free session. And thank you everyone that has made out time to be here. Thank you for the questions that were asked. They were amazing. Thank you so much. And guys, please do continue to share this video and listen to this, share this to other people. This is really great information in here. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment box below. I'll be happy to pass them on to them, or you can just, you know what, you don't even have to give me the questions. You can just go to your website and leave the questions there, be part of what they're doing, register for their newsletters. That's something that I started doing because there's tons of information that is in there that it can be helpful to you, that can educate you on a daily basis on what you can do. And Sister Eileen, thank you so much. Thank you for all the information. It was
If I may just add something, Louisa, do you mind? Sorry, I'm looking at the chat and I'm seeing some questions coming up again.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm going to take just a minute to ensure that I clarify something on a question. Because what has happened is a lot of people are becoming very interested. They are, and the questions I see coming is they're looking at the relationship between business continuity and insurance. Remember, I had told, I told the audience when we started that when it comes to business continuity and insurance, it's pretty much, they work together. So what I think I really need to clarify to the audience is that the logic between continuity and insurance, as much as they work together, the logic is that if you look at insurance, and I want you to understand it, I'm going to put it in a very, in a form of which everyone will really understand. So I want you to think about insurance, like saying passengers do not need their seat belts, right? So that means you don't need a backup assistance. You don't need a seat belt. You don't need a backup because you have liability insurance. So that may not really help you much, right? Because in continuity planning, you have to identify and you have to recover anything of which your business may lose, of which insurance cannot provide, right? So again, when you look at insurance, business continuity is a form of insurance, right? So don't always, at every point in time, think of the financial coverage or the reimbursements in the event of a loss. Don't always look at the conditions of where they have to cover you when you lose. I want you to be forward thinking. You also have to focus on your reputation. You also have to focus on your processes and the technology functionality that can help you prevent that loss. Because there's so many things of which you cannot get back. As much as insurance may offer you a payout, but then those qualitative things like reputation are things of which you cannot easily get back. So that's just the relationship of which continuity shares with insurance. And again, I want to tell you that insurance is not enough. I have to stress that point. There is the additional value provided by having a business continuity plan. And that, I think, is what the audience should go with.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that question, because guys, we have different screens. And so, if you have a question in another screen and I haven't seen it, I will make sure that the experts deal with this. I will be happy to forward it to them right after this session. But I want to let you know that I really do appreciate you guys for making our time. Some other announcements, it's the month of May. So May the 5th is a day that we will all appreciate teachers. So if you have your favorite teacher, please send their names to us. We want to give them a shout out. And of course, invite them to the session on May the 5th. We will have a special session here for teachers just to celebrate them. You will agree with me that teachers have done so much during this period. They deserve to be celebrated. So May the 5th is World Teachers Day. We cannot miss that date. May the 10th is Mother's Day, in North America. I know that some other parts of the world sometimes have a different date, but I know that North America is May the 10th. It's also important that we celebrate the mothers. The mothers have done amazing this period of time, really assisting the children with the homeschooling. I know it's been a lot of work, guys. It's been so much work. Another set of people that I will not forget are the frontliners. Thank you for the work that you're doing, because without you, the world will fold over. So many frontliners have lost their lives, to COVID-19, and we have to continue to remember them. Thank you for the work that you've done. Thank you for those of you. You guys are amazing. You had to sacrifice your life. You had to sacrifice your security, and just to be there and support other people. I really have to appreciate you. And the final set of people, or second to the last, is the cleaners. Cleaners are doing an amazing job cleaning, because we're all in, but even in the hospitals, the cleaners have to do the job. So thank you so much, the cleaners, for the work you're doing. And the philanthropists, all of you who have supported families, who have provided food for other people during this time. In some countries, they're not even worried about COVID that much as they're worried about people dying of hunger. And so many of you, we did a fundraise here, and we did so much work back in Africa. We will have the videos coming to you very soon for you to see what we did. And thank you. And of course, you can still be part of it. I continue to reiterate that even if you give $1, it can put food on the table for someone. Even if you contribute $5, it can put food on the table for a family. So continue to think in that way. Have a civility mindset to step away from your comfort zone, to stop thinking about yourself alone, but about other people who are dying of hunger, about that child who is on the streets who doesn't have a home to go to and was supposed to be on lockdown. Where does that child go? For the homeless, where do they go? We're supposed to be on the lockdown. Those in the shelter, where do they go? And then some families who are being squeezed up, I mean, look at the city of New York, for example, one of the highest populated city. And imagine what is happening at this point. And I'm thinking, where did all the people who were always on the streets go? So it's so difficult, when you think about it. I want you to step out of your comfort zone, step out of the box, think out of the box, not just about yourself and your immediate problem, but about other people and how this has affected families and how this has torn people apart. Think about the children who are being abused. Think about, families where abuse is going on. Think about people who are experiencing, depression, mental illness, anxiety, panic attacks. It's so much that is happening. And so every day that you wake up, be grateful that you were able to see the day. And guys, I want to say thank you so much for hanging with me today. And I look forward to seeing you back on the next session, because we have 2 more for our masterclass series before we go back to our regular conversations. And some of you are still here to the end of the show. Thank you. Thank you again, Dr. Kaiser. Thank you again. And then Intel, thank you. It's great to have you. Thank you for making up time. Thank you to all of the team and members of Global Advisors. I really have to appreciate all of you for the work that you're doing. I know it's been an extremely busy period for you. So guys, thank you. I hope to hear back from you again. And please do not forget, today is Family Civility Day. So we're having a conference. So move over to Dr. Rebecca Harper's page. We're having a conference. Some more people are still joining us from Instagram. Dali from Dublin, it's good to have you. Dirup Patel, it's good to have you in the house. If I don't pronounce your name right, please forgive me. We have a global audience, but I really love you. And if you can send me a message on how to pronounce it next time, I will do that. So for now, I'm going to say bye and have yourself a wonderful weekend and rest of the day. And I hope to see you back here again on Monday, same time. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.